Oh, hello, ladies and gentlemen. I know I made a video about Microsoft, but this is kind of an emergency video because I think I've seen one of the dumbest bugs imaginable. Now, I don't mean to make these videos so soon, but when you see an error that blows your mind, you just have to talk about it. I have to talk. I have to yap. Okay, I do. So I'm sorry if it annoys some of you guys, but listen. Apparently, you can't even open the calculator on your Windows without it breaking. Now, thankfully, by now, this is hopefully patched up. But ladies and gentlemen, a night ago, there was a update that was sent out to Microsoft computers around the world, okay? So basically, this is the January 2026 security update for Windows. Now, in this security update, they actually ended up breaking access to applications. Now, the thing about it is, thankfully, Microsoft has patched it, but I think it's wild that the bug involved that people would just lose access to applications that they probably shouldn't have lost access to begin with. So to show you how this stuff worked, I decided to get a virtual machine of Microsoft Windows. Using a tool called DISM, I installed the specific problematic version of Windows, and the bug can be replicated. Now, just to show you, this showed up basically a few days ago on the GitHub. A few days ago, basically a day ago, you can see that on GitHub, one guy was trying to open up their terminal and they were given this error screen. Uba profinci el conto. Now, if you read the actual translation that is provided, check your account, pal. Terminal is not currently available on your account. Make sure you're signed in on the Microsoft Store and try again. So, the terminal is a pretty important application. If you ever want to just do things on your computer with like a command line, you just fire up a terminal. On Linux, it's as simple as clicking this little terminal button and whoa, look at that. It's right here. Oh my God, what a shocker, huh? See, I can throw commands like this without it needing to connect to a server on the internet to verify that I have the ownership to open such a basic application. So, of course, obviously, this started to happen with a whole bunch of other applications. So I kind of want to talk about why this happened, why this occurred. Now, obviously, you can, update Windows. Again, Microsoft threw out an emergency update for this because obviously, if people can't open their calculator applications, it's going to be a pretty bad tax season. Now, to show you guys a quick understanding of why this happens, I think a great way to begin is to show you guys Windows 98, okay? Now, sorry, Windows 95. Now, this is what Windows used to be: snappy, fast, efficient, and actually a pretty goated desktop operating system. If we could go back to this visual style, and I wouldn't even mind it. But again, to show you what's happening, if I open up the C drive on my Windows 95 and I go to things like the program files, accessories, obviously you can see that WordPad is the application, the word processor on the system. Now again, this is a standard Win32 application. And again, you can see that to start it, it's as simple as just launching this application file, and here it is. So WordPad starts up. Nowadays, now, the key difference is that this used to be Windows back in the day. Windows 11 now is a vibe-coded nightmare, it seems, where the application that they were actually using was a UWP. Now, this security update was actually meant to harden things like Secure Boot, for instance, on systems. Unfortunately, the update actually regressed some things. So for instance, a lot of those applications like Terminal, Calculator, they're actually packaged as UWPs, which are Universal Windows Platforms. Now, those applications, Microsoft basically requires that they go through something known as Clip SVC, which actually looks at apps' digital signatures and compares them to newer system certificates or just system certificates in general. The bug caused a mismatch, which meant that for Windows, starting those applications made them fail a license check. And that's why I told you, go to the Microsoft Store. Go to the store. So basically, they weren't provisioned or validated properly. Now, Microsoft basically sells these applications like Notepad, like Windows Terminal, for basically $0. It's a free application because they're not selling it to you, it's just part of the system. Unfortunately, I guess the Microsoft account didn't appear to have these applications baked in, which, what blows me away too? It's like every Windows update now seems like it's the greatest advertisement for Linux. Because why the fuck are we connecting so many things to internet functionalities? It's insane. You know, Microsoft Windows doesn't want you to play around with local systems anymore and local accounts. They've found every way possible to shut that shit down as quick as they can. And a lot of it is due to the fact that they want you to make a Microsoft account. They want you to be a known quantity so they can tell investors, hey, look how many people use our system, even though that you probably don't want to have a Microsoft account. For the longest time, every single time that I use Windows, I barely connect it to my actual Microsoft account, especially since I use it mostly in a virtual machine to play like a really old game every once in a while. There's no reason for me to connect myself to Microsoft's data gathering system. But the fact that applications as simple as the Notepad, the fucking Notepad, you probably use the Notepad every day without realizing it. That, ladies and gentlemen, has been tied to this online app ecosystem that they've made. So again, thankfully Microsoft patched this, but it wasn't actually the only thing that they broke. Somehow, for the fellows who are actually using Outlook, which is actually still an email service that I primarily use myself, a lot of these individuals had issues where Outlook started to slow and not respond. Inability to reopen your email application without ending its process in the task manager or restarting the computer. Emails not appearing in the sent items folder despite being sent. Outlook just re-downloading your emails. You know, how is it that we're getting to a point that the most... How do you fuck up an email? How do you do that? Why? You know, we're at a point where like a lot of these big companies like Microsoft, and it's not just Microsoft, okay? I don't want to just throw them under the bus here too. Do you guys know that motor vehicles now need updates? I have a car that needs firmware updates. I'm going to explain something to you, okay? Anytime you're a big company, you push out an update to systems or anything, you should always have the most painless rollback method. So anyways, just a quick analogy. When I updated my car, updated the firmware, I drove it for like 20 minutes and everything failed. Drivetrain, power steering, everything stopped. Like the vehicle just spit out every error prompt at me. I pulled over to the side. They had to put it on a flatbed and send it back to the dealership. And the dealership was like, yo, hold on, the computer's all fucked up. And I'm like, what? First off, is it covered under warranty? That sounds really expensive. Like, oh yeah, no, your car's only like a month old. They had to replace the entire computer on it. And I'm like, why don't we have rollbacks for this, right? So again, that's a more serious example. Like that's a car, like honestly, if that happened to me on the highway, whew, that would be pretty fucking dangerous for not only me, but people around me. But when Microsoft is selling one of the most used operating systems in the world and it operates like the most fucking AIDS-ridden, like when it just operates in the worst way imaginable, what are we doing anymore, man? Like, what are we doing? Like when you sell the most used desktop operating system and it messes up this royally, what are we doing anymore? Like what is actually happening? Why is there not the simplest rollback method? And the reason why I say simple is because even underneath Linux, right? And again, every Microsoft update now is like the best advertisement for Linux. If I see something break on Linux, all I have to do is go to my boot manager, hit this little snapshots button, and it instantly loads back to a previous save state. You know, before like a big update happens, my Linux will make a save state, my operating system, and then if something breaks, which it can, I could just roll back very painlessly. It does it automatically. And it's like, how is it that free and open source software is doing this way better than proprietary dog shit sold to us by these big corporations? Oh, I'll tell you why. It's because Microsoft's more interested in you agentically fucking with your operating system than actually trying to use it. You know, it's bad when companies like Microsoft straight up tell you guys, like, hey, the update is so bad that you should probably go back and, like, uninstall the update just to use your system, which you shouldn't do for security updates because Microsoft does push a lot of security updates, like over 100 per patch, which is important to have, especially in the world we live in. So it's just mind-boggling, man. You know, and it goes basically on the cusp of another patch recently for the enterprise side, where again, because of the security update, Microsoft broke a possible way to shut down your system. When we're at a point where shutting down your computer, a very simple process that we've been doing since the MS-DOS days, We have a fucking problem, okay? We seriously have a problem. The bugs are hitting, bitch. But you know, the best part about this is when you start seeing bugs happen to the enterprise people. You know, the people that Microsoft sells this crap to for like 10 times the price. You know, those individuals had issues where using the remote desktop client application led to issues of accessing the stuff that they paid for. Now, again, to me, I love this more than any failure because pissing off the average guy like me and you doesn't really make Microsoft angry. They don't give a shit. But pissing off the people that are paying the actual bills to keep the lights on in Redmond, that's what they should be caring about. And if they're fucking up there, that is so heartwarming to see. I enjoy watching this level of failure because honestly, I think it's deserved with the level of incompetence showed with every single patch that's been provided for Microsoft Windows. It's actually newsworthy when an update drops without breaking something that you shouldn't expect to be broken at the end of the day. You know, one of the things that I love too is like the Windows 11 subreddit. Like even these individuals are just like, bro, what the fuck is going on here when Microsoft is telling you to uninstall updates? Like even inside here is like, yesterday I got this error. Notepad is currently not available in your account. Like what the fuck? Even the Notepad doesn't open anymore due to constant screw ups? That is a very good analogy to, that is a very good idea to think of. Now this error code, I was looking closely at it, and it actually mirrors another error code that's similar to what you would see on an Xbox when you don't have entitlements to launch an application. This is so bad that again, for people who have handheld gaming systems like the Rogue Ally, also saw these bugs. It's like, this is not available in your account. Make sure you're signed into the store. Now, thankfully, this individual got away with it because they restarted their device. But they kind of also mentioned SteamOS and Bazzite. And again, you know, I'm not going to tell you the fix here simply to update Windows, because if you just keep updating, you'll still be a part of the people over here that keep having issues. Now, in reality, the best way to fix this, ladies and gentlemen, here's the best patch. There's something called CachyOS. Very simple. All you have to do is go search up CachyOS or go to CachyOS.org, hit that download button, download it for your desktop, burn the ISO file it downloads to a flash drive that you have, something that's 8 gigs, nothing super duper fancy, and then go through installing it. In fact, it's actually funny because installing this is super duper easy too, just to show you guys, the nerds out there, that it's not difficult. It's not arcane magic. So over here, when you actually boot it, all you have to do is hit the CachyOS button. If you have really old hardware, there's also legacy hardware as well too, but we don't have old hardware here. We're gonna hit enter and we're gonna start the actual operating system. So you'll see all this stuff pop up. Don't be scared. Sit back, relax. As long as you see everything giving you the fat okays, you're fine. Now, as soon as you get blasted with this, now, as soon as the actual system starts, it'll blast you with this pop-up that says, welcome. All you have to do is hit that launch installer button at the bottom. Now over here it says, hey, which bootloader do you want? Press Limine. Okay, that's the one that I use. Wow, look at that. CachyOS's installer. My mouse isn't showing up in this VM, so I'm just going to navigate it through the keyboard, which is super duper easy. So again, you pick your language, you press that next button right there, and then of course you pick what area you're in. I'm in Toronto, so just hit next, pick your default key map. Again, that's where I'm at. And of course, right over here, it'll ask you, what do you want to do with your hard drive? And again, since we're getting rid of Microsoft Windows entirely, hit that erase disk. Make sure you back up everything, please. Make sure BTRFS is selected, because that is how you get that really sweet safe state functionality that I was talking about earlier. Hit next. And of course, pick which desktop environment you want. Plasma Desktop is the best, but there's so many other variants that you will honestly just have a field day. Hit next, enter your name. So I'm gonna type in Muda, and then of course give yourself a password. Hit that big old next button again. It'll be like, you sure you wanna do this, champ? Hit next. Hit install, and whoa, look at that. It's actually installing for you. It's just that easy. It actually just is that simple. It's just installing for you. Now you can fuck right off. You don't need to connect to special servers or anything. And all the applications in this Linux distribution can be launched without requiring entitlements for no real goddamn reason. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I am blown away that Microsoft has gotten to the point that things are actually this broken. You know, people used to tell me that use Linux. Linux breaks all the time. It's crazy that it actually is almost the other way around. Linux to me is so boring because nothing really breaks. It's just really stable. Even though that I use CachyOS, which is Arch based, and it, updates, it's a rolling release. So I'm basically sitting at the very bleeding edge of things. It barely breaks. Mac OS probably is the picturesque child of stability. And to be real with you, Microsoft Windows breaking every other update, there are options. I just showed you how to switch. It's not that difficult. Take the plunge, okay? But Muda, I can't play the games that I want. Then you know what? You don't have to play games that are invasive. Look at all these games that I've been playing, okay? Arc Raiders, Final Fantasy, what is that? Final Fantasy, not 13, 14 online. Hell, the originals, Resident Evil 6, God forbid. Everything that you could ever kind of imagine, at least in the single player realm, works exceptionally fine. That said, this is me, Mudahar, and God damn, dude. Fuck me. I am out.